Whatever.
I think it's an excellent idea to have a show that's all about individual people, so that people realize that greatness doesn't come out of exceptional people. It comes out of ordinary people doing exceptional things all the time, every day, in very ordinary ways.
The most important thing that you have to know out there is that you must follow your dreams, but that doesn't mean that you don't get the education. It means that you get what you need, whether it's education, whether it's knowledge from books, whether it's knowledge from elders. Get wisdom and you can go anywhere in life. I think that's the most important thing. Follow your dreams and don't let anybody tell you you can't.
In life, yes, it's good to have a purpose in life, but my philosophy is that your purpose can is always changeable. You know, maybe at one time you want to become a public school principal, but to have a purpose is always a good thing. You know, so any purpose is okay. You don't have to stick with one purpose the whole way. So I do believe a purpose is a good thing. However, I think a lot of parents sometimes come down on their children for not having a purpose in life, and I just think maybe parents could ease up a little bit in that direction, and because in time. Purpose comes through.
What we need to do basically is, see, when you guys were growing up as youth, you guys had actual leaders to look up to. People like Malcolm X, people like Martin Luther King. There was actually, and then what they were fighting against was the racism, the direct racism, and the direct brutality, right, that was out there. And then you guys as young people, you guys were part of Black Panther, so you guys were militant. You guys had the militant mind. See, today's young people still have that militant mind, and they still have that anger, that hatred still within them. But what happened was it got diverted. See, they don't see the actual racism out there. They don't see the actual brutality out there. So they don't know what to do with that anger. And what is it doing? It's reversing.
I think one of the things that young people have to really take into consideration is that the culture they're in at times is antagonistic towards us. At times it doesn't take our interests seriously, and it has these very sort of strange expectations of us. It allows us to be entertainers and athletes, but on any other level, it doesn't want to take us seriously. It allows us to, engage in music and the entertainment field, but other than that, it doesn't take us seriously, and it sort of excludes us. And we have to face the fact that at times this culture is antagonistic towards us. The police don't treat us properly. The government doesn't take our interests seriously. Similarly, our young people find themselves akin to young whites and to other young people in this culture who the government doesn't take seriously either, and the government excludes them and takes away their power from them. We have to face the fact that corporate citizenship now is being valued a hell of a lot more than individual citizenship, and the government seems to be moving towards supporting them. Should we look to our government to support us? Should we look to our government to be behind us and lead us and guide us? Well, of course, that's what we pay them for. That's what we elect them to do. Right? And I strongly believe that until we're allowed to have a sense of purpose that we can formulate for ourselves, as this young brother was talking about, a sense of purpose that we can formulate for ourselves, that can be taken seriously by the wider culture and not in some ways undermined by the wider culture. Hey, until that point comes, we're going to have a lot of difficulties, but we still strongly need to bond together. As this young brother is saying, unite, know that we're not alone. Know that we can offer each other comfort, support, economic support, religious, spiritual support, personal, psychological support. These things can be there for us, but we have to sort of recognize our enemies and understand that we can still unite and deal with them.
The test of a man is the fight that he makes, the guts that he daily shows. The way he stands on his feet and takes fate's numerous bumps and blows. A coward can smile when there's naught to fear, when nothing his progress bars. But it takes a man to stand up and cheer while some other fellow stars. It isn't the victory, after all, but the fight that a brother makes. A man who, driven against the wall, still stand erect and takes. the blows of fate with his head held high, bleeding, bruised, and pale, is the man who will win in the by and by, for he isn't afraid to fail. It's the bumps you get and the jolts you get and the shock that your courage stands, the hours of sorrow and regret, the prize that escapes your hand, that tests your mettle and prove your worth. It isn't the blows you deal, but the blows you take on this good old earth that show if your stuff is real. Thank you for watching. See you next time on All About You.
You know, Kendi, if I had 5 minutes to live, this is what I would say to you, this is what I would say to my children, this is what I would say to every one of us here, that we are born to win and not to lose. But you alone must choose win or lose. Doesn't matter your color, doesn't matter your race, the place you were born, or the challenges you face. Doesn't matter what someone else has or what they do, the choice to win in this life is up to you. You win with love and kindness too, by doing the things that Jesus would do. You win by serving with a smile. You win by going the extra mile. Sometimes you win even when you lose. When right over wrong, you choose. Sometimes you win when it's least expected, when mistakes we all make have been corrected. So what's the secret on how to win? It's purpose and a relationship with God. That's where it begins.